Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go!
Please allow me to note well in advance, this story is not mine. In fact, it's a rather popular story in a town I once lived in, Savannah, Georgia, and centers around one homeowner who got royally annoyed with a movie producer. There will be a note at the end about the fellow this story is about for those interested. Okay, so first and foremost, when movie producers are looking for places to set a movie that takes place in colonial or even 1800 cities in the US, due to the sheer number of parks, wide roads, and period houses, they will often select Savannah, Georgia. They'll pull all the Spanish moss out of the trees or trim it back, pour dirt on the roads around the squares, and effectively backdate that part of the city to fit most any place, even up to some having used the area as a setting for places like early Washington, D.C., Britain, or France. Typically, when producers do this, they will pay each homeowner whose house is used as background flavor a couple $1,000s for the licensing to do so. That will be important later. Trust me. They issue some rules, like no electric lights being visible, not coming out of any door that faces the street, and you have to move your automobiles away from the drive if you have a drive. Well, in 1979, a producer came from Hollywood with the intention of using Savannah for that very purpose. Specifically, the producer was from one of the big three-letter TV channels and was working on making a made-for-TV movie, talking about the events after the assassination of Lincoln and the subsequent accusations of the doctor present at his death. The production went to the city to seek permission and then sent an announcement out to each of the homeowners telling them of the various days that the shoot was going to take place. However, much to their downfall, they also noted that the production company would not be compensating the homeowners for the use of their homes as backdrops. This was met with some great annoyance by the homeowners, who turned to the city for help, only to be told that it was their civic duties to allow the use of their homes. Most everyone agreed to this and bit their lips. One homeowner, however, didn't. He decided to get revenge on the production, attempting to screw up their shooting every chance he got. He first started by leaving his car out in front of his house, only to have it towed before filming started. He threatened legal action against the studio, but that fell on deaf ears. He forbade the use of his home in some of the shots, but the production company got the city to make him back down. Eventually, enough was enough, so he waited, biding his time until he was certain they were filming. When the day came that his house was being used as a background shot, the homeowner grabbed a massive Nazi flag and hung it out front of the house out of one of the top windows. The production company balked. They knew that this ruined any shot they'd used there, and what's more, they started to question just when he put the flag up. Was it just the one day, or had all the previous shots, some which showed the house from across the square, been ruined as well? They turned to the city for help, and the city just basically shrugged, saying that it was his First Amendment right to do that, and implied that had the production company paid the homeowners, as had always been done before, then this probably wouldn't have happened. In the end, the production company had to end shooting and go to the homeowner begging for him to remove the offending flag. He did eventually do so, but only after his lawyer got a contract in writing that required the production company to pay all the homeowners for having their homes in the shot. The flag came down and shooting wrapped in less than a day. Interestingly, it's said that in the movie in question, The Ordeal of Dr. Mudd, there are several shots where you can see a bright red Nazi flag flying from one of the homes in the distance. That stunt cost a producer quite a substantial amount of money and pushed production back at least a year while they tried to find every single instance that the flag flew in the background shots. This homeowner would go on to, himself, become very famous, though not for a good reason. Even so, he lives on among the legends of that city, both for his revenge against a movie producer and his later brush with fame. The fellow in question is none other than Jim Williams. Williams was an American antiques dealer and a historic preservationist based in Savannah, Georgia. He played an active role in the preservation of the Savannah Historic District for over 35 years. Williams was arrested on May 2, 1981, for the alleged murder of 21-year-old Danny Hansford. After the subsequent 4 trials, a record in the state of Georgia, Williams was finally acquitted by a jury in Augusta in May 1989. 8 years after his arrest, Williams died in 1990 of heart failure. Though AIDS is also suspected, he is the center of the story Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil novel, and later Clint Eastwood movie. Last spring, I finished my minor hockey career, meaning I'd have to enter the wild world of the men's league. In November, I joined a local hockey Facebook group to find a place to play. That evening, I saw a dude looking for players to have a casual game at a local arena, 10 p.m. Sunday night. I commented, was told the cost was $20. Deal? I was in. I showed up and was told I'd be playing on the white team. I noticed that all my teammates didn't know each other, were wearing different jerseys, and that the opposing team had matching custom orange jerseys, orange socks. They all got along just fine. We hit the ice, and it was instantly apparent that the orange team played together often. They had set plays and passed around our team with ease. We thought we'd be showing up for a casual, no-contact game, but Team Orange was in it to win. They played hard, swinging their sticks at anyone who touched the puck, tripping players and taking plenty of penalties with no referee to call it. Eventually, they got bored of skating circles around a bunch of randoms and started trying to hit members of my team. I played all-star hockey growing up. I naturally played with my head up, aware of my surroundings, but my teammates weren't so lucky. Most of them were getting run over while the orange team laughed and mocked them. The game ended early when half of my team left, injured and realizing they'd paid 20s to get run over and embarrassed by these guys. I stuck around in the dressing room after and made sure to ask lots of questions. I sat next to the team captain and soon found out that the orange team was an actual beer league team that played together every weekend. They played their league games on Saturday night, then rented the ice every Sunday night to practice. Their idea of practice was getting a team of randoms together via Facebook, advertising the session as a casual skate, then pummeled them for fun. He said that a lot of guys wouldn't come back to play again, complaining about the hitting, saying the skate was not fun, and it was getting hard to find people to play, but he didn't really care and found it funny. Plus, he was making a profit. After watching this guy and his team count 11 guys out of 220 total, promise them a fun game, then beat them up and play unfairly against them, I wanted to do something. I could have taken it up with the admin of the hockey group. That would be too easy and no fun. That weekend, I paid close attention to the Facebook group. Sure enough, on Friday night, the captain posted the same ad I saw last weekend. Within minutes, the comments were flooding with a handful of players, about to be tricked like I was. I quickly private messaged all the players, notifying them of what this guy was up to. They were surprised, but thanked me for telling them. Sure enough, they all went back to the comments to cancel on him, using various fake excuses. The next day, the captain posted a desperate ad, followed by another on Sunday morning. Less and less people commented, "Perfect." I did this for a couple of weeks, texting players and telling them to avoid this guy and his team. Nobody snitched on me, and slowly he stopped posting in the group. Interested to see if he'd canceled his practices altogether, I called the rink and asked if the ice was booked on Sunday night at 10. The rink attendant said that a beer league team was practicing at that time, and it was the only open ice available for the winter. Learn to skate sessions were on weekend mornings. Minor hockey games happened on weekend afternoons, evenings, and junior games happened on weekend nights. Beer league games happened late night Saturday, and the beer league team always booked practice on Sunday night. Nobody else wanted that time slot, and often went to other rinks. If it was the only open ice time, what if I went the extra step and took it from them? The orange team captain always booked his session on Friday nights, so I called the rink on Thursday night, hoping I wouldn't be asked for a down payment and asked to book Sunday night for the next month. I told the attendant that I was running an adult learn to skate session, fake name, fake company, everything. They gave me the time slots and told me I could pay on Sunday night before the skate. I own the slot now, and there was nothing that Captain Cook could do about it to avoid having to actually pay for the ice time. And to avoid being a no-show, I'd call every Sunday morning and cancel my session for that night, claiming my fake skating class couldn't get any members to register. Canceled ice time would become an open skating session, meaning that families, couples, anyone could pay a small fee and come skate, so the rink wouldn't lose any money. Too late for the captain to be able to book his practice, but enough time for the rink to open a free skate session. After a month, I figured that the captain didn't bother with trying to book Sunday night anymore, so I told the rink attendant that my learn to skate company flopped and that I wouldn't need to book Sunday night anymore. This whole fiasco lasted about a month and a half to 2 months, from November to January. Never heard from the captain or his team. He hasn't posted in the group since, so I'm assuming that they don't have their practices anymore. Last I heard, the 10 p.m. Sunday night session was booked by a beginner adult league, where a lot of men and women were learning to play for the first time. I'd like to think that I'm partially responsible for the opening of that beginner league. If you're out there and you're learning to play because I stole ice time from a bad beer league team, you're welcome. I found a new place to play, with a great group of guys. We have our games every Saturday night from 10 to 12 p.m. at a different rink, all good players, but just there to have fun. I just saw this happen. I was at a gas station filling up. The station had 3 or 4 islands of pumps with diesel fuel on the outside too. Not at all uncommon. One of the outside islands had been blocked off with traffic cones and caution tape, and 2 bucket trucks were in the lane, working on the wiring of the lights or whatever 15 above. Very safe, everything marked off and barricaded. An OSHA rule book in real life. So, some entitled nitwit who is unhappy that he cannot get into the lane that is blocked. So, he double parks his truck, gets out and breaks the caution tape, and then tries to parallel park his truck in between the 2 bucket trucks. This, by the way, will not help him, since 1. That island only had 2 pumps and the trucks blocked them, and 2. The fill on his truck was on the other side of the truck and the hose would not reach. But he gives it a try and gives one of the bucket trucks a pretty good knock, which pisses off the guy in the bucket. He and his partner in the other bucket decide to get out of the buckets before another attempt to park is made, and have some words with the guy, who goes absolutely freaking ballistic, screaming how he needs to get fuel. One of them mentions how there is another diesel island, and the guy starts screaming about he was there first. Throughout all this, the guy behind the counter decides to call the police. I don't know if the crazy guy was a frequent flyer or what. The police show up, and then the crazy guy decides to take a swing at one of the bucket truck guys, and the police decide he needs to calm down. At which point, he takes a swing at Officer 1 and pulls a screwdriver out of his pocket for Officer 2. He chose very, very poorly. Now, things really hit the fan. Lots more cops, an ambulance, and I was stuck. No way to leave. Then the media showed up. Eventually, the crazy guy is restrained. Hand and leg cuffs and a spit mask. He goes in the ambulance with one of the cops, and finally the mess clears out. Don't know if he was just naturally entitled or he had pharmaceutical help. At any rate, he can refuel his truck after he gets it out of a police impound. When I was a senior in college, I had a very dirty, filthy suite mate. Before knowing how he was, I always tried to be generous and bring my toilet paper or paper towels if I would see it running low, because I would want someone to do that for me. Things started becoming an issue when I would notice that my toilet paper would be almost empty whenever I would just put it on. Like either he was taking massive dumps or he was allowing all his friends to use our bathroom. I told him that I'm noticing the toilet paper wasn't getting filled after I would bring one in, and he assured he would start replacing mine and putting his own in, which he never did. So I stopped refilling it and only brought in my toilet paper when I had to use the restroom and would take it out. I then started to notice my hand soap started to dwindle faster than it usually has, which I didn't really think anything of it until I came in the bathroom one night and saw my hand soap on the shower floor, which meant in my mind he's been using it as bath soap to shower with, and I was furious. He couldn't even remember to put it back on the sink so I wouldn't find out. I was going to confront him or go to RA, but we were graduating in a few weeks and I didn't want to have to deal with the mediation stuff, so I said, screw it, and started taking everything that's mine out of the bathroom. Fast forward to a few days before we had to leave our dorms, we were required to clean our rooms and the bathroom. I knew he wasn't going to do anything, and when it came time to clean the bathroom, I noticed he had left because his room door was open and nothing was inside, but he had left all his toiletries inside the bathroom, such as his bathroom rug, shower curtains, trash can, shower mat, etc. I was moving to an apartment after graduation, so after I finished cleaning everything, I took all his things, washed them, took them with me, and left the dorm. A lot of people leave things behind and get them later if they can't fit everything into one trip wherever they're going, so I wish I could have seen his reaction when he came back to the dorm and his things were gone.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.